Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Spilled. As usual, we are your hosts, Delaney
and Kendall,
and we are back bringing you history's hottest gossip. Kendall, what's new? What's going on? Give us an update.
Okay, so we have quite a few new followers of the pod, so I just wanted to take a minute and first of all say hello. Thank you, everyone. Second, I'm so sorry. You guys all need to go to the TikTok and see what I am looking at right now, what I look like right now, because we are, you know what? I'm not even going to tell you what we look like. You need to go look. Go to the Instagram, go to the TikTok at Spilled History. We're doing our big one right now, guys.
You look like Louis the 14th. I'm sorry, I had to say it. Just the long hair.
Thank you. So for those that are new to Spilled, which honestly at this point still kind of like all of you guys, welcome back to episode 4. A quick little recap on what we're trying to do here. This is a low stress, low commitment educational podcast. We are trying to bring to you the juicy parts of history. The idea here is that you're learning a little bit, getting entertained mostly, right? So no pressure to learn or remember everything you're hearing. This is mostly an entertainment podcast. And if you learn a little something like I do at the end of every episode, I have a little takeaway that I've learned, then we've met our goals. So buckle up. This is going to be a good one. Today we're talking about, was Ben Franklin a zaddy?
Founding father or F-boy. Today we are going to be revealing the hidden stories, hidden truths, honestly just the best stories out of Ben Franklin's life that are not talked about enough. We hear of his life as a founding father, but nobody ever goes into his little secret life, his little side quests that he had going on throughout the duration of his life. So that's what we're going to get into today, guys. We're going French mistresses, 1700s Boston, letters, writings, books, etc., guys. It's going to be good. And I promise it's not just a key and a kite.
And obviously we have to say this, guys. If you haven't rated the podcast, do that right now. Thank you. If you haven't followed the podcast, do that right now. Thank you. If you haven't followed us on socials, do that right now. Thank you. Okay, great. We're ready. We always start off with giving a little bit of historical context, what in the world is going on right now, so that everyone understands the geopolitical forces at play, the pressures, the environment. Delaney, what time period are we in? What's going on?
Okay, so cultural context, we have the growth of the Enlightenment, honestly, through its peak. Revolutionary War that begins April of 1775. Remember, Ben Franklin's life was 1709 through 1790.
Right, and give us a sentence on what the Enlightenment is in case we forgot. I know you guys all learned this in A-Push.
Hopefully. The Enlightenment essentially promoted these ideals of unity, of knowledge, and most of all, the idea of kind of skepticism. Not believing everything you see, really looking deep into things, trying to find the truth in realities. And through this, they were challenging these traditional structures, ancient regimes of power like monarchy, churches. All of these are being challenged, and they were promoting people to be skeptical, look into everything that they were being taught, that they were being shown. Big promotion of the arts, of culture, music, etc. And all this was pushed through salons and print culture, which we will talk about more throughout the episode.
While I am very happy that the Enlightenment existed, and I do believe that it had a very special place in history, I am so happy that I'm not having to deal with these, quote, Enlightenment thinkers in my dating life. Can you imagine going on a Hinge date and then there's a guy that's like, I don't know. I just kind of feel like I've been thinking a little deeper recently. And can we talk about my thoughts on gender roles in art? No, you're not.
I feel like that already is.
You're not enlightened.
I feel like I've already experienced that, though. That's the bad thing.
Maybe I'm triggered. I'm no more enlightened thinkers. We're done. We're over
it. It's either that or they're just a contrarian, and which I feel like are the worst people to be around. They're just everything you say, they have a contrary thought. They just have to disagree. They have to, yeah.
Yes. Stop. Men, stop being profound. You're not doing it right.
Yeah. Get like us.
Moving on.
XOXO, Frank the Tank. Now that we've gone over the kind of cultural landscape, what's going on in the world at this time, let's go over a small list of things that you guys probably already know Ben Franklin for. Maybe the things that are, when you think of his name, that come to mind. Obviously, invention of the lightning rod. We all know the classic key and kite experiment, 1752. legend has it, Franklin warns out, flies a kite with a key attached to it during a thunderstorm. This was all to prove his theory that lightning was electrical. He was right. He goes on to obviously invent the lightning rod from that, bifocals, and the Franklin stove. The list kind of goes on. Man was an inventor. He was creative. Okay, we can applaud him for that.
The list goes on, but Delaney can't pronounce it. He also invented the odometer.
I'm like, listen, etc.
Other things that I should not name, but you should know.
Yeah, guys, so sometimes there are other things. I just can't say them. Moving on. His founding father resume. Again, other things you guys might know him for. Obviously, signed the Declaration of Independence. Okay, like minor. Signed the Constitution. You're cool, whatever. Signed the Treaty of Paris. Yada, yada. Starts the first public library. Love that for him. I'm a big reader.
Cool.
Right?
Smash.
Ooh.
Susie. You know that one?
Did you say smash?
Yeah, I love reading.
Anyway, it's getting too hot, and that's why he had to start the first fire department in America. Hey, thankful for him and our first responders. That is a definite smash right there. Thank you, Ben Frank.
Put him on a calendar.
I mean, seriously, guys, if it wasn't for him, we would have had no Magic Mike renditions of firefighters. Think about it. We would have, well, okay, obviously we wouldn't have people, saving lives. That's probably the more important.
Well, okay, to clarify, like, firefighters existed in history before him, but he did found the first fire department in America.
No, Kendall, he created firefighters, obviously. Clearly, that's what we're saying.
First, he created fire.
First, lightning. Second, fire. Then, the firefighters.
He's an airbender.
Isn't that kind of a generic name that we're now, like, that you think about it? Firefighters? Like, they're like waterbenders? No, they're firefighters. Now, before he was a founding father, I honestly think he was more iconic, because in 1722, guys, this cracks me up. This had me in tears. I can't believe that this is real. I can't believe that he did this. 1722, Boston. Benjamin Franklin is only 16, and he wasn't allowed to publish in this in the newspaper, and so he had all these writings. He really wanted to publish them, and he wasn't allowed. So he secretly adopts this persona of a widow, Miss Silence Dogood. That was her name.
First of all, a little on the nose. Like, I'm sorry, Silence Dogood. Like, oh, hey, yeah, I'm Mrs. Ally World Peace. This is my real name. God-given.
Yeah.
Middle name Joy.
I think, I can't tell if he was going for, like, a obvious it was like an obvious alias.
Silence Dogood.
Yeah, like it was like obviously an alias or what, but essentially, yeah, it was this widow. And he would publish these letters in the New England Current. And okay, so essentially these letters, they kind of came at like colonial life, the Harvard, the snobby people at Harvard, women's roles.
Wait, I'm so glad that that is a time-honored tradition of making fun of Harvard snobbery.
Right? Like,
we all think you guys are annoying. I need it for you. Like, honestly, great degree. But at the same time, Cambridge.
And listen,
okay.
I want to say that it's not their fault. I'm like, see, listen, it's just the school. But I
would be like that too.
You play into it. I would too, right?
I would for sure be so annoying.
But no, so what's crazy is he used these like female pseudonyms to critique these power structures. He would like impersonate, like, guys, this was a heavy impersonation of a middle-aged woman, like widow. And he used that to like, again, mock like Puritan clergy. He was coming at everything. Guys, the public were so invested in this that at some point Miss Silence Dogood was getting marriage proposals and fan mail. Like, people were offering to take her in, people were offering to marry her because they loved her just like witty nature, and also how this was a woman who was speaking on some very heavy issues, not to say political, but definitely like heavy issues. And the fact that this was Ben writing from the perspective of a woman and that people believed it, kind of shows he was a little ahead of his time, like a true Enlightenment thinker in himself.
I'm obsessed with this like Lady Whistledown approach.
Seriously.
I also think it's really interesting that like basically he used a female pseudonym because he knew that like it would kind of get the target off of his back a little bit. Like if he was a man critiquing the crown, the church, the social structures, there's absolutely no way people would like think lightly of that and turn a blind eye to it. But for a woman, I mean, she's just what? She has nothing better to do. She's just sitting there. She's bored. She's a widow. Who cares? She's not dangerous. She's not a threat. So pretty brilliant. Also just kind of like an interesting perspective on how women were viewed and their thoughts and stuff like that.
And what I also love is the fact that this was fully out of like, not resentment towards his brother, but his brother James had refused him, like had said that he was not allowed to publish writings like that, not allowed to publish his thoughts. And so the way he went around his brother, now, I mean, it was ballsy and it was really iconic, but this does kind of separate his relationship with his brother. James finds out, he's outraged. So eventually, I have to note, eventually Ben Franklin gives up the act. He's like, guys, I am Miss Silence Dogood, haha.
We've all seen season 3 of Bridgerton.
We all know who it is. And James is absolutely outraged at his brother. And essentially, like, they get into this huge fight, and Ben Franklin leaves. So he leaves Boston and goes to Philadelphia. And once he arrives in Philadelphia, he begins to forge his own identity, eventually leaves Boston for Philadelphia and ends up starting his own newspaper company. So that was kind of his origin when it comes to print culture and kind of the beginning of his advertising, PR, Enlightenment career.
My favorite note here is that this diva was also criticizing women's fashion. Like, no stone unturned here. He was like, in the petticoat, you see her. I saw her ankles yesterday. Little slut.
I know. Like, he was like, genuinely, guys, like, if you like look through, we don't have like all of the letters really, but we have clips and bits and pieces of them. It's hilarious. He truly is like a Lady Whistledown. You would think that a widow wrote it. You would honestly think, who has this much time to sit and observe the town like this? Like, who knows all this stuff?
It's giving Dan Humphrey Gossip Girl. Yeah.
I've never seen Gossip Girl. Oh no.
Wait, did I just spoil Gossip Girl for you? At this point, that's fine. It's too late for you.
So this diva not only mocked and criticized other women's clothes, but this man had a style of his own. Franklin is iconic for his fur cap. We hear it over and over and over again. Gordon S. Wood says he carefully curated his, quote, rustic American image, which was completed with that fur hat. I mean, cunt.
So I just didn't expect you to go there.
So essentially, a lot of historians think that this fur hat was essentially to charm the French elite, the bourgeois. They wanted to kind of like, they liked this Americanization of Ben Franklin. They kind of liked that whole idea of like the promotion of the American identity. And so this fur hat, guys, made him a popular man within our French salons, which is our next topic, guys. Oh, it's about to get hot.
Before we get too deep down that rabbit hole, why can you explain to everyone like why was he in France at the time?
Now, Franklin is sent to France on a diplomatic mission. So that's why he goes to France in the first place. And he's accompanied by Silas Dion and Arthur Lee. And so they were sent as a kind of commissioner, think almost diplomat, to negotiate an alliance and essentially secure support for the American Revolution. So, as we know, guys, the French played a very, very, very key role in the American Revolution. We would not be here without them. This part that Ben played was vital to the success of the war and to the building of our country. So these men had a very important job when they went to France, and y'all are gonna be kind of surprised to hear what went down while they were getting high with the French.
I also think that context helps a lot in understanding like this hat. It wasn't just like, oh, novelty, whatever. Like he was trying to gather support for the French to invest troops, money, time, political relations in the like colonies basically to win the Revolutionary War. So he really needed them to like buy into the idea of like the American dream at that point.
Yeah, and the promotion of kind of nationalism, showing that there was an American identity. Like, we're American, we're not British. There's a distinct line. See, I have this fur hat on my head. I'm not British, I'm American. Fight for us, because aren't we cool? Like, come on, you can't tell me my hat isn't cool. You don't see that in England, huh? You know, it was like kind of, again, promoting this idea that America was worth fighting for, and to kind of convince not only the French elite and the, you know, the monarchy, but to convince the public as well. Because as we know, guys, French social life was not for the weak. And boy, did it influence their monarchy and their government as a whole.
So it sounded like he was doing some really strong, let's call it canvassing of the French people while he was there. What did our boy Benny get into?
He got into a few too many salons. Now, for reference, a salon, we're not talking hair and nails and, you know, mani-pedis. Sadly not, no. A salon. Oui, a salon. A salon was essentially, we see this mainly in French 1700s to 1800s, and this was essentially a gathering of sometimes Enlightenment individuals, where it was the elites, it was the bourgeois, and this was held in these reception rooms or salons. And oftentimes these were mainly women. These were hosted by women, salonnières, and they were very social gatherings. However, a lot of things were discussed. This was very knowledgeable, witty conversation going on, drinks, fun, but this wasn't like a party. You know, these salons were kind of, a lot happened in these spaces. And to be invited into one of these spaces was somewhat tricky. Again, these were mainly women. The only women were holding these. And so in order to be invited in to this inside, you needed to get close with the right people.
Dare I accuse a man of sleeping his way to the top?
Oh.
What did old Frankie Frank have to get up to? Oh, Freaky Frank. What did he have to do to get into these situations?
Frank the Tank,
Freaky
my man.
Frank.
He had to do a woman named Miss Madame Brillon. She was right down the bayou, and you couldn't miss her.
I'm pretty sure it's Brillon.
Well, Miss Madame Brillon, she was a salonier. She was a composer, a musician, an American independence lover. Guys, this woman was iconic in herself. She needs her own episode. But to kind of sum it up, she was crucial to enabling Benjamin Franklin to navigate the extremely complex social and political landscape of the early 18th century France. Guys, without her, that man would have been lost. And what allowed Miss Madame Brillon to kind of promote all of this and enable Benjamin to be on the inside of the social scene in France was the fact that she herself held a salon. She quote unquote kind of owned a salon, which means that she was a salonière, where she would host these salon events. And, you know, the host, that's the big thing. They know all the people. They know the scene. They are the one curating who's going to be in the room, when they're going to be in the room, and why they are going to be in the room where it happens. Madame Brillon's friendship with Benjamin essentially provided him with, I mean, guys, this was so important. It gave him access to these influential social networks. She helped to facilitate half of the diplomatic negotiations that went on while he was in France, helped garner support for the American Revolution. She was his essentially. She was his French guide who introduced him to the social scene, to the right people to talk to, and she taught him the way to do it. You know, she's like, listen, that might have worked when you were, you know, over there in the colonies, but when you're here, you're in France, honey. We've been here for a long time. This is how we do things.
Okay, so this begs the age-old question, can men and women be friends? Can straight men and women be friends? What do we think, crowd?
Absolutely not. Clearly, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Frank the Tank didn't stop.
Okay, actually, short tangent. I feel like my opinion on this is that if men think that they have the ability to have relations with a woman, that is where like the problem lies. And so if a man thinks that he'll never be able to have access to his friends, it's fine. But if men think that they can, that's the issue. So like even if the girl's in a relationship, if the guy thinks that he can, in my opinion, like that's where it gets messy. My roommate and I actually were talking about this in the lens of like, what's the difference between Magic Mike, Delaney and I's favorite show, and a like bachelor party stripper in the room? And in our opinion, the difference is at a performance, you don't think you have the ability to like fuck them basically, but a stripper in a room, like you for sure think you can. Men for sure think they can. And so it's all about like, do you think you have the ability to, even if it's not right then and there? Anyway, that's my stance on men versus women being friends.
And I honestly, I definitely think, I think Ben thought he had a chance considering the fact she called him Dear Papa.
Oh, she said daddy.
Does that translate right? Does that translate to 1800s daddy? Because, bonjour.
Oh, oui, oui.
Hello, bonjour. Claude Ann Lopez very definitively notes that their relationship was an ongoing flirtation rooted in enlightenment sociability.
Where do I get an ongoing flirtation with rooted in enlightenment sociability? Please. That sounds right up my alley.
Right, give me one of those. What's funny is that, like, we don't have any solid, definitive evidence that they had sex, that they did anything. And that leads you to think, what the hell? Come on, Delaney. That's insane, dude. You don't have a written record that he fucked her? That's insane. Yeah, no, I'm sorry, guys. They didn't write that stuff down back then. They didn't film
medieval
it.
Times.
They didn't film it. Right. They didn't have OnlyFans. They weren't setting up the cam for the time. Okay, so no, I cannot confirm that anything sexual happened between the two. And if anything, no, I mean, most accounts do say that this was a pretty wholesome friendship, definitely flirtatious. I think if we can kind of envision this very sociable French woman, and Ben Franklin, he was witty, he was hilarious, and this man was a charmer, okay? Charmed all of the ladies. There were so many to devour.
Ladies.
Looks, proximity to power.
Ladies.
Hey, they deny it. Okay, we gotta stop.
We're gonna get copyright issued. Obviously, they're gonna pick it up. It's gonna sound the exact same. Shazam that clip, and you will get Hamilton because we sounded just the same.
Now, again, the importance of their friendship together, their little fling that they had going on, was the fact that salons allowed men, okay, like Franklin, to gain off this sort of soft political influence. And they did this through their wit, through their charm, and their kind of private moments with the right people, okay? Men didn't get into these rooms unless a woman trusted them enough to let them in, okay?
I really fuck with the French.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. They didn't play around. They didn't then, and they don't now, okay? They'll chop your head off. Don't play with them, Louis. But it was just incredibly noted that once Madame Brillon got him into this room, he worked what he had, guys. The fur hat, the fur cap, okay? Sharp intellect, and his strong embodiment of enlightenment virtues, and kind of his, like, resistance of the aristocratic, like, pompous vibe. Now, these were bourgeoisie members that he was with. These were elites. But they were also kind of with this enlightenment ideal of, you know, fuck the monarchy. We don't like them. I don't like this control. And some of them didn't even like these high social standards and social hierarchies.
Don't you love when a bunch of rich people are sitting around, like, screaming, eat the rich?
They're like, yeah, they should literally burn all of them. It's horrific. It's insane.
It is assuring, though, that, like, his criticisms were pretty consistent through his life. Like, he was mocking the kind of snobbery of the Harvard elite. Mm-hmm. He was mocking the snobbery of the French elite. So, you know what? I love a man that knows exactly what hill he's going to die on.
Oh, yeah. And listen, guys, Ben Franklin was a smart man, okay? He utilized this as a space for him to, like, exert power informally. It didn't seem diplomatic. It didn't seem like he had a motive per se, but he did. And he got shit done. I mean, he got them to listen. He got in the right room. This man was funny, he was witty, but he was smart, and he knew how to, dare I say, manipulate people into seeing his vision by any means. And y'all, we wouldn't have our country if it wasn't for him and his charm with the ladies.
Okay, so he's a 10, but he wears a fur cap everywhere. What is he?
Right. That would throw me off. Damn, that would take him to a 2 just because I'm allergic, you know?
Those are real.
Shit.
Those are real fur too. Like that had fleas for sure.
Yeah, I'm allergic. Like, and I'm trying to think of an animal I'm not allergic to that it could be of, like,
A golden doodle fur cap.
Shave and bald. All right, so next up on the list of things you guys might have not known about Daddy Frank over here, he was a daddy.
My question here is he a zaddy?
Well, okay, tell me if this counts. An illegitimate son.
Hey-yo.
Hello. Oh, bonjour.
Were you a good white man in history if you didn't have a illegitimate son?
Right, come on. However, listen, kid was a bastard, but he raised him right. Okay? He wasn't a bastard. That's the wrong thing. That was wrong to say. He had parents. They just, well, the woman is undisclosed. So kudos to her. Yeah, no, we have no clue who the mother is. No record whatsoever. No one ever knew. Obviously, it can be assumed that this was a unplanned pregnancy with a woman of, I'm guessing, not, no nobility. That was the assumption made, that this was a woman of lower class, and that was the reason he couldn't marry her. This wasn't out of wedlock, okay? It wasn't in wedlock, okay? But it wasn't like he was married and had an affair and had a child. No, single man, okay? Gets with a woman, has a child, but doesn't have her in acting place as the child's mother. So we can kind of assume she didn't fit his social status. Who's snobby now, Ben?
Get her, Jade.
But his common law wife cracks me up when they say that, guys. Absolutely kills me when they say that, because that is essentially like his trophy wife, the wife on paper, but not the actual wife. This was his common law, okay, in name only, wife, Deborah Reed. That is R-E-A-D, by the way, I want to add. She raised William with him. So her stepmother, he did grow up with a female figure in his life. However, they weren't really close from the records that we have. And the kind of sad thing is that through his upbringing, through his childhood, William and Ben are close as they could be, considering the fact that Ben's like all over the world, building a country, was not very focused on the idea of fatherhood. We do have letters from the two of them where there's, definitely shows some emotional conflict between the two. And especially, God, this is when it gets bad, guys. This is when it gets rough, because, enter the American Revolution, and William becomes a loyalist.
And for the listeners at home, that means loyalist as in loyal to the British Crown, as in oppositional of the entire revolutionary movement. God, your own blood.
Yeah, and what's worse is he becomes a loyalist governor. He had a position.
He said, Daddy, you don't know too much about being loyal. Let me show you.
Let me show you how we do it. Yeah, he fully, refuses to support the patriot cause, and this was like a permanent, draw between them, permanent strain in the relationship. What's funny is, well, not funny. What's sad is Franklin actually says that William's betrayals was, and I quote, the greatest wound of his life. And I can imagine so. I mean, like, you build your son up saying you're building this country. You raise your son telling him, you're building this country for you, I can assume, like trying to create this, and to have your son be the enemy, like to go to the enemy side is your son.
I can imagine too, like, it's one thing when you are doing something and your child rejects your ideals or like a way of life or something like that. He was the enemy in a war. Like, it was kill or be killed in this situation. Like, you had to understand, like, him choosing to be a loyalist was like putting them on either sides of not just like a political aisle, literally of death and war.
Yeah, it was heavy. And like, it sucks too. Like, I keep saying that, but like, Benjamin seems like he was like a good father to him. I mean, like, he actively used his influence to help William, securing various positions within the colonial government. He gets so this is when he gets William the position of the royal governorship of New Jersey. Hello, crazy position. That's a massive colony. And so, yeah, and then he just slaps him in the face. I mean, he was like a staunch loyalist. William was throughout the duration of his life, and they never fixed things. They never healed things. And even with his wife Deborah, their marriage was apparently always distant. That's why I noted it was common law marriage. Like, they lived separate most of their lives. We don't have like love letters between the two of them. If anything, we seemingly have more love letters with him and Madame Brillon than we do with him and Deborah.
What is a daddy without daddy issues? What I'm hearing is, so far we've learned that Mr. Benny was a gossip columnist, essentially. A little deeper than that, but essentially a gossip columnist. He had an illegitimate son that then turned against him in the war, broke his heart. That honestly really checks out. And he had a, might I say, kind of hot and steamy situationship with a society member in France.
And not only that, guys, he produced one of, again, God, everything I say about him is iconic. Like, one of the most iconic written works of any of our founding fathers. We know Hamilton wrote the other 51, but did he write Fart Proudly?
You can't be serious.
Oh, I'm serious. Serious as ever. Around 1781, while he was serving as a U.S. ambassador to France, Benjamin Franklin decides to write up none other than Fart Proudly, or it's also been titled, A Letter to the Royal Academy or to the Royal Academy of Farting. That is not a typo. I am not mispronouncing that, by the way. Farting.
Okay, surely this is like a commentary of some sort. Like, I highly doubt Ben Franklin, with his lifelong of criticism of institutions and satire, just wrote this plain and simple. So, like, what's the context behind this? What was the message?
Well, guys, first, to start out, we need to realize, and at this point in the episode, hopefully people have picked up on the fact that Ben was hilarious, okay? Like, this man was funny. Like, he truly was a charmer. He was witty, and he used this methodical humor to target these elite institutions and hypocrisy, which, again, iconic. Come on, Ben. He writes this letter to the Royal Academy or Royal Academy of Farting, and it's essentially an essay, and it argues that if the Royal Academy is truly dedicated to useful knowledge, then it should study flatulence. And he was basically, in a nutshell, like, kind of coming at them and being like, okay, well, if you guys are so concerned and you guys are really doing all you can to help the public health and you're really researching all of this, why don't you look into, influencing the smell and the volume of farting? And I quote, he draws his own observations, suggestions for treatments, all of this. And essentially, this is a pretty notable piece in our just American history, where he's criticizing the tendency of these kind of classical scientific institutions to focus on the impractical subjects. So, like, they're testing for things that actually no one cares about, and they're spending money on it and trying to act like they're doing it for the better of people. Guys, enlightenment, remember, skepticism.
It sounds so familiar. Like, the government wasting money on things that aren't actually beneficial to public opinion or health or knowledge. What?
I mean, like, again, man was ahead of his time. It draws back to this enlightenment ideal where he's saying, guys, look into everything. Don't trust everything you're hearing and challenge it. If you don't agree with it, fart proudly, motherfucker. Fart proudly. Like,
I just know the French fucking hated that too. I feel like they're so like buttoned up about
The
that.
French do not like flatulence, I'll tell you that much. I've been to France. I have stories.
Next up, we're going to Pound Town. Pound it.
And by Pound Town, we're talking a naughty, stanky, icky, disgusting letter that Mr. Ben Franklin wrote, guys. Oh, he was doing so good. Frankie. He was doing so good until this letter. This got him in my burn book. On a fateful night, Ben decides to sit down and write a letter. Write some advice to an unknown address. Okay, we don't know who this was addressed to. We don't know who he wrote it to.
Surely not his son.
Well, see, his son was 14, 15 around the time. So people do think it could have been to his son.
Perfect age for a mistress.
Yeah, I mean, but listen, guys, once you hear what was written in this letter, I don't think it was to his son. It doesn't make sense, okay? He, like, at the beginning of this letter, he had me. At the end of it, he absolutely loses me. So I'm going to go through. There's 8 points in this letter, okay? The overarching advice that Ben is giving to this young mystery man is that, you know, why would you choose a young mistress if you could have an old one? And at that, you would say,
I'd like to hear what he's thinking.
Right. So I'm going to give you 8 points on why. Let's start. Number 1, because they have more knowledge of the world and their minds are better at observations. With this, conversation is more improving and lastingly agreeable.
Okay.
Who doesn't love an agreeable woman?
No, but I'm going to say I see his point. I see his point on number 1.
All right. All right, here we go. Number 2. Because when women cease to be handsome, they study to be good. Hey. All right, Ben. All right. I like this one right here. They learn to do 1,000 services, small and great, and are the most tender and useful of all friends when you are sick. Thus, they continue amiable. Okay. There is no such thing as an old woman who is not a good woman.
Do you know how many old bitches I've met, Ben? One too many.
Yeah, they're not all nice, guys. They're not all nice. They'll hit you with the purse. Don't think it's only in the movies, okay? All right. I still have you. Is everyone still here? I still have everybody? Okay. Number 3. Because there's no hazard of children. She's dry.
So technically, he's right.
He's right. And here's the thing. He also says because produced may be attended with much inconvenience.
I hate when men are inconvenienced.
William.
When they, you know, when their livestock goes inside of a woman because they put it there, and then all of a sudden they're like, God, what would happen?
I'm like, William, I'm going to sit you down for this one, buddy. You're an inconvenience. Wow, rough words. So that's why I'm saying, I don't know if this one's to his kid. I don't know if this one's to his son, to be honest. Okay, so he starts to lose us there a little bit, but he makes sense. Okay, no hazard to children. I get your point, dude. All right, from like a bro to bro perspective, dude. I honestly get you, bro. You don't need a pill. You don't need to wrap it up.
She doesn't want your child either.
Right. So you're good, bro. All right, number 4, probably most important to Ben. Your reputation stays safe. Right. Shh. Keep that under lock. Prudent and discreet in conducting an intrigue to prevent suspicions, guys. He claims that if an affair should happen to be known, considerate people may be rather inclined to excuse an old woman, right, who would kindly take care of a young man, form his manners by her good counsels, prevent ruining his health and fortune. Basically what he's saying is that if a young man is seen with an older woman, essentially everyone is going to assume, well, clearly he's not fucking her. Clearly she's just taking care of this young man and counseling him. And and I love this part at the end. To prevent his ruining his health and fortune among mercenary prostitutes. She keeps him safe from the hoes.
How many old women do you think he had to fuck to like get this list? Or was it just one, like, really memorable one?
At least 8. At least 8. We got 8 points on this list. And like, guys, this number 5 here, this is the worst of them all. It's bad. It's bad. This one truly makes me angry. Because while I was doing my research, I was so excited. I was clapping. I was, ooh, Ben, T, ooh, ooh, ooh. Till I get to this number 5 on this list. I'm going to read the whole thing for you guys. Ready? Because in every animal that walks upright, the deficiency of all the fluids that fill the muscles appears in the first and the highest part. The face first grows lank and wrinkled. Then the neck. Then the breast and arms. The lower parts continuing the last as plump as ever.
That's insane.
So that covering all above with a basket and regarding only what is below the girdle, it is impossible of 2 women to know an old from a young one. As in the dark, all cats are gray.
Oh, wow. I'm not gonna lie, I don't love that one.
It gets worse.
Okay.
The pleasure of corporal enjoyment with an old woman is at least equal and frequently superior. Period. Every knack being by practice capable of improvement. So in other words,
he would love Botox.
Right, clearly. In other words, below the girdle, pussy is pussy. All cats are gray in the dark. And he's essentially saying that, listen, even if she sucks at it, bro, she's always capable of improvement. That's the best thing about an old woman. She just wants to get better. Yeah.
I know by the time you're listening to this, you've already seen my AI generated image of a hot Ben Franklin. But I want everyone to think about the $100 bill. He's no pleaser.
Right. The man had charm, but that was about it. All right, number 6. Guys, this one makes me laugh. Here we go. Because it is less of a sin because she's older and she's not a virgin. So you're not taking her virtue.
Like, right. I mean, okay, fair. Sure.
Right. Dude to dude. He's like, you're not really hurting anybody. She's done it before, right? All right, number 7. Because, if you take a young mistress, you're probably going to ruin her. Because you're a man, right? That's what he's saying here. He's like, I mean, obviously, you're going to screw her up if she's young. So the best thing is that, okay, this is what he says, the having made a young girl miserable may give you frequent bitter reflections. You feel bad for that young girl. None of which can attend to making an old woman happy.
Okay, so here, though, I'm not totally off board here. Like, right. I understand a little bit the sentiment of, would you rather make an old woman happy or a young girl upset? Sounds like he's not willing to commit either way. I'm kind of like, he's a bit of a fuckboy with a conscience here. I disagree with the premise that him fucking the old woman would, of course, undoubtedly bring her happiness because she's just so lucky. But I can understand that he sees he has 2 options. He understands one of them would cause harm to another, and he posits the second one would enjoy it. So I don't actually hate that one.
I don't either. And I mean, number 8 kind of ties into it because he just says, and they are so grateful.
No, and he lost me again. I hate nothing more than a man with an ego. Who are you?
Like, it's just arrogant. Ugh. I hate it. It's just like that arrogant, like cocky, just like an assumption that like you're so lucky to be in their presence. It's like I'll be at work and I'll put on perfume and some, did you put that on for me?
Ew.
Absolutely not, bro. No. What's no in French? No. Opposite of we. So to wrap that up with Ben, I mean, sad thing is he kind of loses the female crowd with this one here. I mean, it definitely does not.
It honestly feels like a little bit of an Icarus moment. You fuck too close to your son, your willy gets burnt. So that's
what happened.
That's what happens. Didn't your dad teach you that? No, because he was off fucking French women in the name of diplomatic relations.
Oh, God. And listen, we love Ben. And after this episode, guys, I think I love him even more. And it does sadden me to read some of those things, to hear some of his opinions on women. However, I mean, for the time he was in, he did a pretty good job.
This man would have loved Substack.
Is that some porn I don't know about?
No, it's for writers. Doesn't really seem like a TikTok guy, but like fart proudly, that is a Substack article if I've ever read one.
Guys, he would have loved it. He would have loved it. Okay, so big picture now. We have showed you guys the other side of Benjamin Franklin, aside from the founding father that we know him as. And it still kind of leaves us to question, was he a zaddy? After all of this, do we think we can classify him as a zaddy?
Oof, this is really hard. Okay, I'm going to walk you guys through my decision tree here. Funny, check. Witty, check. Fur hat, a little undecided, but how tall was he? Can you Google that real quick, Delaney? How tall was Ben Franklin? This is might be one of my more final decision makers. While she's Googling. Smart, smash, love that. Curious, enlightenment, great, smash, love that. Delaney, how tall was he?
5'9".
Oh, man. Oh, that's a hard one. Okay.
Ooh, I just got an image of it. I got an image of like him walking up like, bonjour, 5'9". Gets a gray in the dark.
Yeah. I think you guys can't cancel us for this one. 5'9" is short. Okay. That's short. A short king. It's a short king. Some people are into that. I'm not into that. So upon reflection, I don't know if I can handle the short king ego. Like, please be so happy that I'm fucking you vibe. But he really had me in the first half. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's really back and forth. And now you're right. Now that I'm just kind of picturing the whole thing, it icks me out. Yeah,
you can kind of see him like the bifocals, the fur hat. He's kind of like swagging up, right? He's like, girl, are you a key and a kite? Because you just made me feel shocks through my body. That's like what I'm thinking.
See that lightning? I invented that, right?
He's like, girl, are you my bifocals? Because you're the only 10 I can see with my glasses on. Didn't really make sense, but you guys got the idea.
That one would have really lost me.
He was like, girl, are you my bifocals? Because I just can't see a life without you. That's good. That's a good
Blind
one.
as motherfucker. Blind as bat. Blind Benny.
Girl, are you an odometer? Because I am racking up the miles.
I was going to think of one, but I can't. Yeah, I mean, I got to applaud him for his ability to use his charm as like a tool of diplomacy, of social influence, of his own kind of American personal branding. And obviously we have to applaud him for his, he helped gain us that support from the French. So he was successful in his endeavors within the French salons. But I think we could classify him as a founding father zaddy. I don't know. I mean, let us know if you guys would like a series. Maybe we go through and
the founding zaddies.
We see the founding zaddies. And we'll put them on a little wall.
Mount Rushmore. Oh. Okay,
are you a zaddy or are you not?
What I want to know in the comments is like, let's be so for real right now. You guys look deeply, look inward. This is some of y'all's type. Out yourself in the comments. I would love to know, is this your type or not? I know some of you have dated the short king with a little bit of an ego, but ooh, he's funny and ooh, he's smart. Yeah, call yourself out. Do it in the chat. Smash or pass.
Do it. Yeah, that's something I think that we should start doing. Just at the end of a video, once we're talking about a figure, we want to know, guys,
smash
would you do it? So, Kendall, now that we know that you would smash him,
no.
What is your...
Don't lie on this podcast.
Did I get that wrong?
I passed. But I know some of y'all freaky freaks would smash.
Well, what's your dinner party takeaway?
Okay, I actually kind of cheated because I've fully already used this dinner party takeaway with my friend the other day. After you sent me V1 of the script, I was
boring.
I was so excited by some of these facts that I've like fully already been talking about them. I think it is so interesting, and like I cannot believe more people don't know that he had his own gossip column essentially, or he had his own kind of writings under the pseudonym of a widowed.
It was like a mystery.
Woman.
It was a Boston mystery.
I think that is.
This was literally in the Boston paper. Iconic.
I just feel like in the age of Bridgerton, like the idea of publishing behind a pseudonym and critiquing women's fashion, like he was a diva. This guy was a diva. He said, let me have a signature look. Let me go get my little willy wet all through Paris, old or young, but preferably old because they're going to shut up about it. He had thoughts on sex, which I guess a lot of men do, but anywho.
I mean, guys, he landed his beautiful, pretty little face on the $100 bill for a reason. So I think we know he was pretty iconic. He was a diva, and we changed our mind.
No, I'm just kidding. I would smash a $100 bill.
Can't go back. It's on film.
$100 bill smash. On a, well, let's admit it, not so serious note, thank you guys so much for listening. Hopefully you've enjoyed this podcast. Do not forget to follow us along, whatever platform you're looking for. Share it, send it to someone, or just rate us 5 stars. We'll take anything, but we really appreciate you making it to the end of this podcast. Like I said in the comments, smash your past Ben Franklin. This is very serious to us. We want to see all your responses. We want Spotify to be like, what the hell is going on in this podcast? And then maybe they'll notice us. So thank you guys. I hope you have a great 2 weeks. As a reminder, we publish every other Tuesday. So get ready for our next episode, and au revoir.
Ciao.